Back here in Miami, we get ready to start this powerhouse matchup, the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. If this is your first time watching the World Baseball Classic, it will not take you long to figure out how much this game means to the players and all the people in the stands. Venezuela, the home team. Dominican Republic will bat here in the top of the first. What a lineup. Young Julio Rodriguez, the leadoff hitter, the rookie of the year in the American League last year. Juan Soto, a little health scare this week. Calf wasn't 100%. Good to see him in the starting lineup for game one for the Dominican Republic. Manny Machado, Hernandez, Devers, Franco, Pena, Candelario, and Gary Sanchez, the catcher, batting ninth. And that's the lineup that will face for Venezuela their left-handed starter, Martin Perez.
Yeah, we'll talk about Martin Perez, and it starts with strike one. If he can do that, he can go to work with everybody else. He's a guy that's going to be around the zone. He's not going to strike out that many guys, but he's not going to walk that many guys. He relies heavily on his fastball and his slider combo. He had a great year last year at an ERA of .289. He was basically his ace for the Texas Rangers. And we'll take a look at his arsenal. This is a guy that heavily relies on his sinker and his changeup. He's going to be using that as well as that cutter. He likes to throw two different cutters, though. One to lefty that looks more like a slurve, and a harder one that looks to kind of gear up on the hands of the righties when he wants to at times. But look, no question about it, sinker, changeup. He loves that combo, especially with the cutter to top it off.
Defensively for Venezuela, behind Martin Perez, Ronald Acuna Jr. playing center field for his country. Anthony Santander in right field. David Peralta out in left. Suarez, Jimenez, Altuve, Luis Ariza, batting champion over at first base. And the great veteran catcher who is such a leader on this Venezuelan team, Salvador Perez.
Salvador Perez, man, what else can you say about him? But it's going to be key for him to calm Martin Perez down as much as possible, especially these first couple of innings. If he can get away from those righties, hopefully getting early contact, good things are going to happen, and Martin Perez will get in a rhythm with Salvi.
It's not exactly a soft landing when you face the Dominican. Rodriguez, Soto, Machado, here we go. And the first pitch of the game right there on the inside corner. A fastball for a called strike. Almost the same spot, a little farther in. It's 1-1.
Yeah, he likes to speed you up at times, especially to the righties. Try to go with a little baby cutter right there, trying to get his aggressiveness out of it. Yeah, this is a young player in Julio Rodriguez. He wants to see where he's at right now. This is a good matchup, understanding that Martin Perez ain't scared to throw the fastball. 2-1 count. We can see one here, and fireworks can happen really quick.
2-1, and he changed up on him.
That's that changeup we've been talking about. He's gotten a lot better with that changeup as his career has progressed. Usually be more of a fastball cutter combo. A lot of speed coming at you. That changeup has been an equalizer for the right-handers.
2-2. Count here to Julio Rodriguez.
Everything's been inside right now, but you would think a backdoor cutter is that pitch. But again, it's Julio Rodriguez. Don't let him get extended.
3-2. Rodriguez, hard hit, base hit. This is the first hitter of the first game of this tournament for these two teams. Listen to this place.
It's electric, Dave. There's that smile. Yeah, try to go in on him. Try to cut him up a little bit with his hands. 3-2. Missed the plate too much. They're into it. They'll be into it for the whole game.
Rodriguez, who's got the power, also has speed. Juan Soto is the hitter. And he drives the first pitch out to left center field. Very well hit. And it's going to bounce off the wall. Rodriguez flying around third. And he's going to come in to score the first run of the game. What a start for the Dominican.
It's a party. It's a party. Are we in Miami? Or are we in La Capital de Dominicana? Juan Soto, this is what he's been doing since spring training. Using the left center gap at all times. When he's at his best, he's letting the ball travel and using the whole field.
first pitch swing off the left center field wall. Back-to-back hits, and now Manny Machado comes up.
This doesn't get easier.
It does not. Machado takes a strike.
You see Juan Soto swing right there. Look how connected he is with his backside. That left elbow is right on his ribs, and that's what he preaches all the time. If he can stay as tight as possible at all times, he can hit any pitch possible. That's why he's one of the best in the game right now. He's excited. He is ready. Stay clean, my friend. Stay clean.
Looks pretty healthy, too. he sat out a couple days in the Cactus League in Padres camp with some tightness in his calf. People were worried. Dominican Republic already lost Vladimir Guerrero Jr. off this roster. Topper foul, and it's only 2 to Machado. So it's great news for the Dominican that Soto is able to play. What a year Manny Machado had last year.
Basically carried the San Diego Padres all by himself with, that really good pitching staff. But he's in a hole right now, 0-2. Martinez throwing him really good pitches. Nice four-seamer inside with a good changeup. Protection mode for Manny.
Just missing inside.
One thing I've noticed about Martin Perez, not too many fastballs away. He understands these hitters and the sluggers that they are. He's got to keep them tight and brush them off, move their feet, so that changeup could be the weaponizer for him all night.
Also off the inside, another fastball. So from 0-2, it's now 2-2.
Yeah, at some point here, the changeup's got to be at play. We talk about stressful situations. He's been stressed since the first pitch of the game for Martin Perez.
I've always thought of Manny Machado as a hitter who he could sit on a pitch for a whole game waiting. Wow. Got the low strike right at the knees for a much needed first out for Venezuela.
Yeah, I think Manny was in between a little bit there. Just a really good located pitch by Martin Perez. He basically didn't miss with Manny. Starting him in, a good changeup for the second strike, and a well-located fastball down and into the corner right there. Just a well overall good at bat by Martin Perez to dominate Manny.
Andy Fletcher, veteran big league umpire, calling balls and strikes here in this game between these two baseball crazy countries. So now Teoscar Hernandez, he's first pitch swinging, and a pop-up shallow center field. Altuve for out number 2. Also have a cool connection. So many of these players are close, have played with each other, against each other. Rodney Linares, who is the manager for the Dominican Republic, in a lot of ways he was a professional mentor for the manager on the other side of the field. And these two men are very close. Omar Lopez gives a lot of credit to Rodney Linares for his early development as a manager.
It's funny, Rodney today in the press conference says, Omar, he slept in my house, I've slept in his house, but when they say game on, we're not friends. We'll leave that to the side for after the game.
And now Rafael Devers. We didn't really talk much about him in our open with all the other great players in this game, but Rafael Devers, a true superstar for the Boston Red Sox.
Got to take your pick.
Pitch, and he went. Ruled a swing by Andy Fletcher, and now it's 0-2. Martin Perez is a strike away from limiting the damage here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, he's done a phenomenal job. I think that mound visit by Perez really just kind of calmed him down a little bit.
The 0-2. Well off the outside.
That's a slower slider that he likes to throw. He's got that same arsenal right there, that same slider, but he likes to throw it at that 90-mile-an-hour range, kind of let him bite a little bit. It's not going to have that much of a slurve action to it. And he likes to throw that two-seamer down and away right there to freeze hitters up, especially left-handers.
1-2. Devers, another pop-up. Pena, the shortstop, underneath it for the catch. And out number 3. So that's big for Venezuela to get through it. 1-0 Dominican Republic. Well, the Dominican Republic scores first. Now Venezuela will come up in the bottom of the first inning. Jose Altuve, Acuna, Luis Ariz, the batting champion in the American League from last year. Salvador Perez, Gleyber Torres, the DH, Andres Jimenez, the shortstop for Venezuela, Santander, Eugenio Suarez, David Peralta, rounding out the lineup. What a challenge, though, for Venezuela tonight against one of the most dominant pitchers in the game, Sandy Alcantara.
He's going to be electric. 100 miles an hour, a good slider, a good changeup. Likes to work off his fastball, but be careful with Altuve. He loves to ambush.
He was going after that first pitch. 98 running in. Alcantara last year, this is his home ballpark pitching for the Marlins, and it was just a totally dominant year. And maybe the most impressive part about it, all the innings he pitched. He blew everybody away in his workload. He completed 6 games, which is almost unheard of in the modern game. Oh. 2-1 to Altuve.
Yeah, for Sandy, it's crucial for him to just be around the zone. I mean, you want to get those quick outs, especially with, you know, the amount of pitches that you only have left in your first start with 65. You don't want to go too deep into an inning. You want to be anywhere from 12 to 15 pitches. You can kind of do that. You're thinking you're going to have later on in the game a little bit of quicker inning. Hopefully get to that 60 mark into the 5 and a third.
Yeah, it's a good barometer for any situation, but particularly in the early rounds of this World Baseball Classic where they have rules about pitch limits. 2-2. Altuve spoils it foul.
And that pitch right there tells me that he understands that, because maybe in the regular season he'll try to make him fish, maybe go off a slider, maybe a changeup. He understands 2-2. The at bat has gone long enough. He's got to take care of him right now. Here's 100 coming at you, mano a mano.
Another 2-2 pitch. Altuve takes low. Jose Altuve's worked the count full.
That's where the game is going right now. That's a open wide changeup right there, 94 miles an hour, and Altuve saw it all the way on a 2-2 count. You would think he'll throw that fastball again now. 3-2.
Here it comes. Altuve, hard hit, knocked down at first. Ball rolls away, and Altuve is going to be safe with a base hit. Candelario just couldn't quite handle it cleanly, so Venezuela has a base runner right away.
Let's take a look at Sandy Alcantara's arsenal. We understand he's got that blazing fastball, but he really loves his changeup. At times falls in love with it, I think too much. Loves his sinker to get those ground balls. We know what he can do when he needs a ground ball. He uses that heavy sinker with that slider. But I think that four-seam changeup is going to play a big part in today's game, especially with that pitch count he's got.
Yeah, that was not an easy play for Candelario, but Vladimir Guerrero won a Gold Glove, and he was supposed to be the first baseman for this Dominican Republic team. Unable to play because of a little knee injury. Ball pulled on the ground, fouled by Ronald Acuna Jr.
Well, we know the history these guys have. Ronald Acuna with the Braves and Sandy with the Marlins. It's a battle every single year.
They've seen plenty of one another. That one comes inside and hit him. Maybe it just hit the bat. Acuna was selling it like it hit him. He's taking the bat back from the umpire.
That's usually what they do to Acuna. You got to brush him in, move his feet. He tends to dive at times. 1-1 big pitch.
Altuve over at first, on the ground, hard hit right to short. There's one. That's two.
That's That's when Sandy's at his best right there. He wanted the double play, 1-1. Advantage goes to Sandy Alcantara in its first at bat against Acuna.
Yeah, nicely turned by Pena and Franco. So now 2 down, nobody on. Luis Arraez, left-handed hitting first baseman, batting champion for the Minnesota Twins. Arraez out to left center field toward the gap, and that one's going to get down. It'll roll all the way to the wall. In between Rodriguez and Soto. Arraez to second. He'll stop there.
That's Luis Arraez understanding what has just happened with that double play. Sandy playing the game, understanding, hey, if I can get away with this inning in the first inning with 11 pitches, good things are going to happen.
So that's 2 hits among the first 3 hitters for Venezuela against the great Sandy Alcantara.
Talked to Luis Arraez earlier today in batting practice. Said, man, I'm living a dream every day. The fact that I get to play in this World Baseball Classic, I've been watching it since I was a kid, and here I am playing in one of them. Truly remarkable.
And of course, he won the batting title with the Twins, but this is his new home ballpark. Just a few weeks ago, traded to the Marlins.
I did ask him about that as well. I said, what do you think? Can you see the ball well? He says, man, I can see the ball well, but what I love most, it's all the space in the outfield. It looks to be that I can get a lot of line drives over the infield and have a home here in Miami.
A chance for Venezuela to tie the game up with a base hit. Salvador Perez, the catcher and cleanup hitter. 1-1.
Talk about Salvi. It's interesting to see Sandy, how he's attacking him right now. Hasn't really thrown him anything up in the zone. Kind of things. They're all pitches that look like a strike and falling off.
Yep.
And Salvi has always been kind of that. He's always gone out of his reach, wanting to think that he can hit everything. Using the aggressiveness right now in Sandy Alcantara, and boy, he feels it, and so does this stadium right now.
Pulled foul on the ground. I mean, it's the first inning of this game, and it is. Look, it's the first game in pool play. You got 5 teams. Everybody will play each other in this portion of the tournament. But with Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and the Dominican Republic all in this one pool, and only 2 advance.
One's going home not happy.
1-2. Got it. A couple of hits, no runs. We'll go to the second. Dominican Republic with a 1-0 lead. It was pretty impressive before the game. Albert Pujols, Big Papi, Pedro Martinez, all with Team Dominican Republic, and the president of the country, Luis Abinader, was here to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Luiso, a former Marlin, Venezuela native, was the catcher for the ceremonial first pitch. A lot of respect between all the players and the folks in these 2 great countries who care so much about this sport.
Can't forget about El Alfa in the picture right there. Famous known rapper from the Dominican Republic.
Well, thanks for getting me up to speed.
I got you.
We got some more work to do over these next few days.
They love their music.
Yeah, they love it. Outside the ballpark and in the park.
It's all the time.
Martin Perez with a good changeup there, and he jumps ahead 1-2.
Well, the book has been set on Martin Perez. If we saw what we've seen right now so far since the first inning, is tie up the right-handers and slow them down with that changeup.
Wander Franco just inside. It's 2-2. I think the Rays are expecting a big year from him. He was not healthy last year. Still played pretty well.
a little backdoor cutter. He likes to do that at times. Doesn't really necessarily like to do it with nobody on base, but when he needs that first out, it's very crucial for him. And he's basically pitching like he's got people on base right now.
The 3-2.
Oh.
Huh. Yeah. Wander was wandering. Hey, it's a big stage. A big smile for Wander Franco. That's ball 4. He takes his walk.
Interesting pitch usage right there on Wander Franco, throwing him that changeup. Had him fooled with that backdoor cutter. Had him fooled with the fastballs inside. Once again, though, hey, if you talk about stressful situations, top of the second, another stressful one.
Jeremy Pena, big chopper to short. Fielded there. Jimenez flips the second one. Altuve not in time. Good attempt by Venezuela, just not hit hard enough to get the double play, but they cut down Franco, the lead runner.
That couldn't have been turned any better. We talk about Pena and the way he gets down that line. Boy, he was getting absolutely down that line. We see that hard slide at second base from Altuve. Great throw. Pena's got some wheels.
Altuve hung in there, but Pena too fast. So he's at first, 1 out. And Candelario will come up.
It's not like you can run right now on Perez. He's got a really good move. He's got a couple quick ones, a step off one, a reader.
Yeah, you got the Perez on the mound and the Perez behind the plate, both of whom make it tough to activate the running game. Candelario from the Tigers, essentially taking the spot of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Good pitch in on the hands. It's 1-1.
And a guy career-wise has absolutely taken advantage of left-handed pitching throughout his big league career. Ain't no left-hander. He would tell me, ain't no left-hander I don't like. I can hit them all.
That's a good point. This is a good spot for him, maybe to get him going early in the pressure of this tournament. 1-2.
He's got two options here. Martin Perez, he can continue to speed him up with that baby cutter up and in at his hands, or go soft for a show pitch on a changeup. That's the cat and mouse game right now is being played early on in this at bat.
Pena close over at first.
And I always felt when left-handers like that will pick overs because they were going soft. I wanted to make sure that guy was aware that he can go over whenever he wanted. Not necessarily to speed you up with something hard in.
Outside, 2-2. This year Candelario will be with the Nationals now with the Nats. So it didn't go soft on him. He stayed with that fastball, missed away. It's 2-2.
He's doing a really good job right now reading the swings, reading the takes. No, not necessarily is it just Martin Perez, but it's also Salvi back there behind the plate. He understands he's a good hitter too of his own. He can read takes. He can read the way they kind of go at the ball, how hard they're landing on their soft spots. Wants to go up and in on them, possibly a pickoff here.
Yeah, that's what it was. They are still paying close attention to Jeremy Pena. Hard hit, base hit. Candelario with the 1-out single, first and second, 1 away.
A really good professional at bat right there by Candelario. At some point that changeup had to come, and I think that's why he was a little late on all the fastball they were throwing him. That's how you stay through a baseball right there with 2 strikes. sure go Glover, and Jimenez is trying with all his might. A foot off.
So another meeting out on the mound. And now Gary Sanchez, ninth place hitter, doing the catching for the Dominican Republic here in their first game of this World Baseball Classic. Already out to a 1-0 lead. The game began. Julio Rodriguez with a base hit. Juan Soto, first pitch swinging, hit a double into the gap in left center field. Big bouncer to third. And a bobble. No outs at second and not an out at first. Well, Suarez with the bobble. It was close at second. I'm sure Venezuela wants to take a look. But the call was safe at second base. Ron Copa is the umpire out there.
I think he was safe all around. This is all led by that back runner in that secondary. You can only be safe at second if you're understanding that there could be a double play and you got to get to second base. That secondary is crucial. He just misplayed it. He misbobbled it right there. Again, a good strike though. Being able to be composed. I think he was safe all around.
Yeah, they're not going to challenge. Wow. So now bases loaded, one out for Rodriguez.
This is like the first game we saw today. If you're giving the opposition outs, more than not, those good teams are going to take care of you.
Rodriguez wailing away at that first pitch, and he pulled it foul. His base hit, Rodriguez is in the first inning, was 113 miles an hour off his bat.
Sixth hardest ball of his career that he's hit. I think he's excited for this moment right now.
Wow.
Bases loaded. World Baseball Classic.
0-1. And the changeup, a beautiful pitch.
That's Martin Perez saying, hold on. I still got the ball in my hand. I can control this at bat. Just a really good changeup right there. Looks like a strike and then falls off the table. Yeah, back can begin right now, even though it's 0-2.
Rodriguez strikes out swinging, got him with the changeup.
That's just nasty. Talk about making a pitch right now when you need it most for Venezuela. Martin Perez delivered. An even better changeup than the first one he threw for the second strike. The arm action is unbelievable. The composure for Martin Perez. Doesn't even look like he's breathing hard. Julio Rodriguez can't believe it.
Well, that was huge, but he's still got to get through Juan Soto, who blasted a double. First pitch he saw tonight. Just last inning. Bases loaded, 2 down. Soto hits one on the ground to second. Got it. Now that was some great pitching.
Big inning right there by him.
Got through the air. Dominican Republic threatens but does not score. Well, there have been so many great players from Venezuela over the years. Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, who burst upon the scene at such a young age. Johan Santana, Cy Young winner. Bobby Abreu, one of the most underrated players, I think, of the last generation. Felix Hernandez, who was here to throw out another ceremonial first pitch. A World Series MVP, the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. And Gleyber Torres was a tiny little baby in a Bobby Abreu jersey right after he was born. They teach him young in Venezuela. They love their baseball.
They sure do.
And look who's at the plate.
A lot bigger.
24 home runs last year with the Yankees. Gleyber, the DH for Venezuela, fell down almost after that swing.
It was funny, 24 home runs, had a big year last year, and still people think around town that his best has still not yet been reached. He's a potential guy who can be an MVP one day.
0-2 to short, scooped up. Pena throws him out. The defense for the Dominican Republic in the outfield. You got Soto, Rodriguez, and Teoscar Hernandez, Machado, and Pena. What a left side. Franco At second base, very talented defender, Candelario. Gary Sanchez doing the catching. Hey, you mentioned it. Our first game here in Pool D. This is the first day of play in Pool D. A and B got underway a few days ago. The pools in Phoenix and here in Miami both starting today. But our first game was Nicaragua, Puerto Rico. And defense was the difference. The final score was lopsided, but the defense was the major difference in that game.
Yeah, you gave Puerto Rico, if not, 5-6 extra runs because of your defense. Then more than not, your good teams are going to capitalize. And sure enough, unless you have really good pitching, unless you have Cy Young type of dudes on the mound, more than not, pitchers won't bail you out.
Candelario decided he didn't want to feed Alcantara. He wanted to take it to the bag himself.
And the rule for a first baseman, if you don't need to feed, don't do it. You're jeopardizing a lot. You're jeopardizing a bobble. You're jeopardizing a mishandle by the pitcher. If you can take it, go ahead and take it.
He knew just how much time he had. So Jimenez is retired. 2 down, bases empty.
You can tell Sandy's sharp right now.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe some nerves in that first inning. Gave up a couple of hits. Got through it.
I was with him this offseason watching him throw to some live hitters, and he was about 80% throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. And I tell you, Dave, I couldn't even see it.
That ball's hit well by Santander. Deep right field. Gone into the second deck.
Uh-oh. Anthony Santander, no surprise to the long ball, 33 home runs in 2022. Well, he has just come up in the biggest of stage in his young career. Improved his strike zone, improved his offseason workout regime, and well, it's showing off against one of the best in Sandy Alcantara, trying to sneak a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Oh, he was ready for the action.
Wow, what a swing against a Cy Young winner to tie the game.
Here we see he's trying to go inside on him, just missed enough. An absolute left hook by Anthony Santander, and everybody was stunned. That ball was off and gone as soon as he hit it.
Alcantara, who pitched so many innings, by far the most innings of anybody in baseball last year, only allowed 15 home runs all year. Soft liner out toward the middle of the field. It was caught. They say out. The throw was high. Wander Franco caught it though, so that's an out. He went ahead and threw it and airmailed it, but it didn't matter. But one swing of the bat has tied this game. We'll go to the third in Miami. Dominican Republic and Venezuela tied 1-1. Did he catch it out of the air? Yes, he did. 1-1, and the feel of the game has really changed. Dominican Republic came out in the very first inning, top of the first, scored a run in the first 2 batters, and the place was going nuts. Martin Perez has settled the game down. Manny Machado, first pitch swinging here in the third. Skies a pop up into center. Acuna for out number 1.
Yeah, you can tell Dominican Republic, they came out swinging first, but now Venezuela has answered back. A huge home run by Santander. Martin Perez just chucking away, making good pitches. First pitch swinging right there by Manny.
Well, and there's a long way to go in this game.
Oh yeah.
But if Venezuela somehow wins, I think we'll think back to that second. Eugenio Suarez at third just whiffed on a ball that could have been a double play, should have at least been an out. Oscar Hernandez takes strike 1. Bases were loaded, 1 out. You had Julio Rodriguez and Juan Soto coming up. And this left-hander, Martin Perez, got out of it, got through it.
Made really quality pitches when he needed to, especially with that changeup. But I think these right-handers understand what's happening, right? It's that move your feet, use that backdoor cutter, and with that changeup, and locate. Here we're going to see another one, 1-1. He likes to repeat. Wouldn't be surprised if he's repeating with that changeup. He has done it already in this game.
This will be his 40th pitch already, and he did. 2-2. Perez limping a little bit. One of the reasons why these games are so intense right away is because of the format of this World Baseball Classic, Pool D. And everybody's been circling this one as the most talented pool before you get to the quarterfinals. 5 teams, only 2 advance, and 3 countries that have some of the great stars of the game. And not only that, Israel in 2017 had a very representative showing in the World Baseball Classic. They've got a more talented team this time. And we saw Nicaragua fight hard against Puerto Rico in our first game today, even though their defense let them down. They hung in that game for a while.
By far the hardest pool in this tournament, I would like to say, is Pool D. No question about it.
Only 2 of these 5 will move on. 2-2. Full count now.
Well, he's living and dying with his cutter and his changeup. At times we've seen him be 3-2 and has thrown that changeup. He likes to go in on here onto Oscar Hernandez. Got to locate.
That's ball 4. So missed inside. A 1-out walk.
This is a big walk right here, especially with 1 out. And the reason I say that is because now it kind of eliminates that changeup. Perez likes to throw that changeup even to left-handers and Devers. The problem is Devers can do just a good job of rolling it over, and all of a sudden you got first and third with 1 out. So now we're seeing just, it's going to be a heavy dose of cutters, soft sliders, and fastballs away.
To Rafi Devers. He popped up in the first inning. Even going back to that first inning, run in, nobody out, runner in scoring position, and no more damage done. Team Perez has pitched around a lot of trouble in these first few innings. Devers got jammed on the right side. Out number 2.
Well, he really got in on that kitchen right there on Devers. He's been as sharp as he gets. Other than that first inning, when things got away from him a little bit, he's been sharp with that fastball. He's been sharp with that cutter and that changeup. And he can throw any pitch at any given moment, and they're all quality pitches. Where he wants to miss, he's not missing by much.
2 outs, runner at first. Wander Franco, who walked. Back in the second inning, up for a second time. Right at the knees with a changeup. Altuve shaded up the middle. That one slashed down the right field line. Foul. Oscar Hernandez was off and running.
Well, it feels like Martin Perez has been on a front here lately, getting everybody on 2 strikes quickly, wasting no time.
0-2. Foul ball. And I think you noticed it right away. The approach for the hitters from the Dominican Republic has been very aggressive.
Very aggressive because basically you know what's coming. Well, it's a matter of actually doing it. It's not that. It's not. You can know what's coming. It's another thing to just go out there and do it. I mean, the changeup is elite. His cutter's elite, and his fastball where he locates is even better. So Got away from him right there. But other than that, he's been as sharp as it gets right now. That's why it's been so difficult. Other than that first inning, it's been a lot of soft contact. It's been a lot of aggressive swings out of the zone, using the aggressiveness for the Dominican Republic. And a lot of changeups we've seen, especially in counts like this. They're going to sneak one.
1-2. Bronco fouled it off.
They tried. And you wonder why these right-handed hitters are late, especially with 2 strikes. And you're seeing right there Salvador Perez making that adjustment and staying hard in, because they all have in the back of their head that good changeup that he can throw at any given moment.
Over. Hernandez short lead, got back. Trying to limit the lead, limit the jump. He'll be running on contact with 2 down. Hope that maybe if a ball gets through, gets down the line, you still have a chance for a play at the plate. Got him with the fastball. So a walk, but another strikeout for Martin Perez. He and Venezuela tied. Middle third, it's 1-1. What a scene in Miami. It's the first game for these 2 teams in Pool D of the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Sounds of baseball in this ballpark. Venezuela, Dominican Republic tied at 1. Bottom of the third. David Peralta, who is the 9th place hitter for Venezuela, his first at bat of the game. Out in front, it's 0-2.
Peralta, the Silver Slugger in 2018 with a Gold Glove in 2019. Found a new home with the LA Dodgers.
He's been a good player for a long time. A lot of good years in Arizona.
It's a difference with Sandy Alcantara at 30 pitches and Martin Perez at 50. 51 pitches. I think Sandy understands that. Like to take care of these hitters a lot quicker than usual.
We'll see where Alcantara stands at the end of this third inning. But Martin Perez, you're right, probably not going to go more than one more. Now Peralta's working count full, 3-2.
That's a win right there for Venezuela. Any win against Sandy Alcantara, you get him into full counts, it's a win. You want to get into that bullpen as soon as possible.
3-2. That's ball 4. Just a little bit low.
It's a really good at bat right there by Peralta. Not giving in. Very close pitch. Nice little baby cutter slider. Just missed. Now we got speed everywhere.
I think David Peralta can still move. He's 35 years old now. Definitely have speed at the plate in Jose Altuve. They changed what had been ruled a hit to an error after Altuve's first at bat. There goes Peralta. One pitch taken. Throw. Tag. No, couldn't hang on to the ball. That's a steal for David Peralta.
There was a bang bang play right there. Kind of kicked it off his glove. He had him. Franco couldn't turn on that shore hop right there. We were talking about it. He's got pretty good speed. He was looking to run right away.
He only stole 1 base all of last year. World Baseball Classic, maybe
it's on.
Brought out a different gear.
Here's a problem here with this situation. Any ground ball is going to be a tight play at first base. So now you're eliminating the double plays, and you're putting aggression and aggressiveness on the defense for the Dominican Republic and Jose Altuve running.
Shortened up like he might bunt. Took that one low. Well, Venezuela's starting to grind out some of these at bats. Altuve, great year last year, 28 home runs. Helped lead the Astros to a world championship.
I don't think he's going to be bunting here. I think it was more of a show.
100-mile-an-hour fastball, but not close. It's 3-0.
It wouldn't be a bad situation here to give him the green light. So you got one of your best hitters in the lineup. You know a fastball's coming. You don't necessarily square up Sandy Alcantara that much, but when you know a fastball's coming, could be a good chance for a green light. But then again, you got the abusador behind Altuve and Acuna.
3-0. That's ball 4. So even if he had the green light, those were not close. Altuve's a free swinger, but not that free. And we're going to get a mound visit here. Alcantara's in some trouble. Tie game, bottom 3, 2 on, nobody out.
It's a good mound visit right here. Kind of calm the nerves down a little bit. Minimize as much as possible, and like Sandy has done throughout his career, he loves getting the ground balls in moments like this. Wonder right here, strike 1 is pivotal, especially for Acuna. Then you can go to work. I guarantee you they're talking about what they're going to do first pitch and possibly doing the second pitch. Moments like this, though, Acuna likes to kind of let the ball travel, use the opposite field. Not necessarily, I know he's known as a slugger, but he can also produce a well at bat right now and try to get that ribby in. And again, we got speed all over the place.
So here we go. Acuna, who grounded into a double play his first time up tonight. 2 on, nobody out. Goes after the first pitch and pulls it foul.
Completely tied him up with that 2-seamer at 99. Can he repeat? I will continue to throw that 2-seamer in, especially with my left side of my infield.
Alcantara. A longer pause, and Acuna asks for time.
Yeah. Cat and mouse game. They face each other quite a bit throughout their careers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they come in on here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Blew it by him at 98. It's 0-2.
Now, this is the reason why Sandy's so great. He's yanked 4 pitches to Altuve, and all of a sudden now, a deep breath, a mound visit, he's right back on it. First stressful situation for Sandy so far. He's made some quality pitches.
Gave up the solo home run last inning that tied the game. Venezuela looking to take their first lead. 0-2. Acuna, big chopper to Machado. Goes to second for the out there. The throw to first. And the stretch, they got him, double play.
Well, Dave, we were talking about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Completely tied up Acuna on 3 pitches. 98, 99, 99. Good throw by Manny. Franco took care of it with Candelarios.
That was close at first. Candelario did a great job to stretch and keep that foot on the bag just long enough.
For kids at home watching, the first throw is pivotal. It's got to be a hard throw right on the money for the second baseman and Franco to have all the time in the world to turn it over to Candelarios.
Who's got a better infield arm than Manny Machado? Maybe nobody. So now 2 outs, runner at third. Luis Arraez. Little squibber to Machado. He's got it. Throws him out. Inning over. Alcantara gets through it. 2 on, nobody out. Venezuela does not score. All right, back here in Miami. Jeremy Pena coming up for the Dominican Republic here in the 4th inning. Look at that company. Players who've won the League Championship Series, World Series MVP in the same postseason. Pena just did it. Corey Seager, Madison Bumgarner, one of the all-time great postseasons. Oral Hershiser, Livan Hernandez, you were talking about him earlier. And the rookie shortstop for the Astros did it last year.
Special talent. Future is bright for the Houston Astros shortstop in Jeremy Pena.
Excellent defensive player. He's got power. Foul ball. It's 1-1. And we'll watch that pitch count. Remember, here in the World Baseball Classic, we have pitcher use limitation rules that are stricter early in the tournament than they are as the event moves on. Changeup. He's made some really good pitches with that one. 1-2. 65 pitches is the limit in this first round. For any pitcher, you can go over that in the middle of one at bat, but then you got to come out of a game. Got him.
He's got everybody in a rhythm right now.
This was last inning after he left the field. And I think, look, part of this is the strategy of how many rest days you have to take if you throw a certain number of pitches. And it's a collaborative thing with a manager, with a pitcher. Are you still feeling good? Can you get me 3 more outs in 14, 15 pitches?
I wouldn't necessarily think that they're thinking about, hey, if we can get you out now, you'll be available in the next 2 days. I think with Martin Perez just kind of navigating through that lineup, he's going to get his 5 days rest. Omar Lopez was kind of saying, hey, how can we get through this inning?
Big bouncer knocked down at first base, but no chance to make a play. Arraez got there, but just couldn't field it cleanly. So Candelario's got his second hit of the game.
Couldn't do too much with that ball. That's a very hard play right there, and I think Luis Arraez will eventually understand who he's got playing to his right in Altuve. Because Candelario is not a burner by any means, but I think it would have been a closer play, a much harder play if Arraez would have gone for it. And here we see it.
Well, we are having a pitching change here now. So Lopez out to the mound. Perez did a good job. He's out. We'll be back with the new pitcher right after this. Well, I think considering the way this game started and considering the lineup that he was facing, Martin Perez did a heck of a job.
Well, look, I think when you look at Martin Perez, from the moment he threw his first pitch, it was a stressful situation for him, and he absolutely rebounded after that first inning. He answered. He had the changeup going. He had that backdoor cutter going. Had the 2-seamer ring going. He had these right-handers guessing pretty much after the first inning the whole way through.
I think a lesser pitcher would have given up some real damage.
Oh, yeah.
Considering the spots that he was in. Jose Ruiz takes over now. Hard throwing right-hander. Been around a while. 63 appearances last year in a White Sox uniform.
Yeah, we're going to see fire. 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastballs. Loves that curveball changeup as well. But he was a fantastic piece for the Chicago White Sox last year, and he'll be looking to put Gary Sanchez away.
And they had the big overshift on for Gary Sanchez. Of course, baseball fans know For the big league season this year, those overshifts are not going to be allowed. But in the World Baseball Classic, we're playing with 2022 MLB rules. So you can use the overshift. That's what Venezuela is doing here in the 4th inning. There's a strike. 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
First World Baseball Classic appearance for Ruiz. He's excited about it, and that was a good 1-0 fastball right there. Mano a mano. I'm challenging you. Let's see how good you are, Gary Sanchez.
Got him to chase that one. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he's not necessarily known for that changeup. He likes this fastball slider curveball combo, but he's worked on that changeup. It's developed a lot better throughout his time in Chicago. They're going up the ladder here.
Pickoff throw. Diving back. Candelario gets back safely.
That thing's about Ruiz. Not scared to come after you. I mean, he likes his fastball. You understand how good is it? It is.
1-2. Sanchez strikes out swinging.
That's just filthy right there.
That's out number 2. Ruiz gets the first batter that he faces.
That's a good changeup right there. Back-to-back changeups on Gary. That's unhittable right there. And we've seen Venezuela do that. Martin Perez going changeup on lefties, and now we're seeing it with Ruiz going changeup on righties. It's kind of been that scene, maybe that book, that you can throw those changeups, even though it's a right-hander.
So now Julio Rodriguez. That's a strike. Got the friendly call on the outside corner. Rodriguez has a hit and a run scored. The only run for the Dominican so far tonight. Coming off his Rookie of the Year season.
Feels like Fletcher's on a rhythm right now with Salvador Perez. Everything he catches, he makes it look like a strike. And if it's that's the reason about Martin, Salvador Perez, excuse me, is that everything he catches, it just makes it look like a strike. He's so big back there. If he catches it nice and solid, nice and quiet, more than not, it's going to be a strike. And the balls, he just completely takes them out.
Oh no! Look at that chest protector, that Venezuelan colored chest protector with the gold emblem. Active players. Now that Yadier Molina has retired. More than 1,100 games at catcher. Easily the most of any active catcher. Good block there. It's 3-1.
That is not easy to do right there. They're going to laugh. You see that changeup right there. That's how you teach it right there. Glove first down. The shin of your face straight down as well with it and lead it to the ball. If Julio learned anything from the first at bat with Gary, is he likes his changeup. We're going to see another one.
And he took it in the dirt. Ball 4. Rodriguez draws the walk. That moves Candelario to second, and it'll bring up Juan Soto with 2 on and 2 out.
It's a good mound visit by Salvi, trying to calm him down a little bit. He's overthrowing that changeup a little bit. He's going to need that pitch. That's going to be the weapon right now against Soto. I think it was such a good mound visit by him, understanding, hey, we're going to work off the fastball, but that splitter change has to be the weapon to get him out.
When Jose Ruiz gets in trouble, often it's with the walk. Right?
Yes.
He can be wild, and the thing about the hitter coming to the plate right now, Juan Soto almost always is going to make you throw a strike. If Soto were to walk, the bases would be loaded for Machado, who's out on deck.
He'll try to quick pitch him right there, and he called time, where in today's rules it'll be different. Soto saw that all the way out of the hand. He's pretty locked in.
I don't think anybody takes a pitch like Juan Soto.
Soto shuffle, baby.
He takes a pitch with style. Through that changeup, that was a strike, and Soto was out in front.
That was a good one right there, especially 1-0. Usually a hitter's count. He's going with his faith right there. Understand that's his best weapon, his changeup so far today. 1-1, big pitch right here. Got to be able to win the 1-1 counts.
Here it comes. Soto went around. That pitch was off the outside, but the home plate umpire made the call himself. 1-2. Yeah. That is a rare chase from Soto.
Problem is with Soto, he's respecting the 96, 97 mile an hour gasser he's got in the tank. He can throw it at any given moment. This is a pitch right here that can put you away.
The 1-2. Soto hits it hard, and it kicks off of Altuve, who scoops it up and throws him out. No panic from Jose Altuve. Game still tied 1-1. Hall of Fame players from the Dominican Republic. For a long time, it was just Juan Marichal. Great right-hander for all those years with the Giants. Pedro Martinez joined him in Cooperstown in 2015. Vlad is in now. Big Papi is in now. And the next wave is
pretty soon coming.
Is coming soon.
Adrian Beltre, Albert Pujols. I thought Juan Marichal never won a Cy Young.
Yeah, it was a tough time to be a pitcher in the National League.
Against Sandy Koufax.
Bob Gibson. His own teammate Gaylord Perry.
Yeah. Tough time.
Tough times. A lot of competition for those awards.
Not saying there isn't right now.
Salvador Perez pulls that one foul. Juan Marichal, would he complete more than 250 games in his career?
Spent more watching video of his leg kick. Astonishing leg kick.
Maybe one of the
leg raise.
Stylish pitchers in history.
Looks great. Saw him this offseason. Looked fantastic. The Juan Marichal Award winner Sandy Alcantara this year.
1-2 pulled hard and fair past the lunging attempt down the left field line of Machado. So Perez with an extra base hit into second to lead off the bottom of the fourth.
The big double right there by Salvador Perez to start off this inning. Right out of the gates now, Sandy Alcantara is facing some stress. He wants that slider back again. Kind of hung up a little bit. Manny did everything possible. Just missed it by a few inches. Salvi knows how important that at bat is, especially to get this inning started.
Great effort from Machado. But there's the go-ahead run in scoring position. Gleyber Torres is the hitter against Alcantara.
Situation here where Sandy understands the situation in the sense of wanting Gleyber not to hit the ball the other way. He's going to tie him up this whole at bat.
Oh no! 2-0.
Gotta throw that changeup. Hasn't been that sharp with that changeup.
I mean, it tells you how high the standard is for Sandy Alcantara. He's only given up the one run against a great lineup, but he has not been totally sharp tonight.
Well, not only that, 47 pitches, 48 right now in 4 innings. That's been outstanding.
Yeah, 3 innings without an out here in the fourth. Those are the thresholds in this first round. All the way through this first round, 65 is the pitch count limit. Got the call there, 3-1.
You dig into that well one more time and throw him that changeup. 3-1.
Let's see. Missed with the fastball. He walked him. Now there are times I think Alcantara is so confident in his ability to get a ground ball. I mean, there are times I think with an empty base these sort of things. I can always get the ground ball, get a couple outs with one pitch, but I think the point you're making is an important one. In this tournament format, those extra pitches, those wasted pitches, they're too valuable.
Very valuable. I'd rather just give him 4 if that's the case. But he understands what he's doing. Look, 50 pitches right now, bottom of the 4th. He understands he can get that ground ball.
There is some activity now in the Dominican bullpen. Hector Neris, right-hander, warming up.
Talk about the Gold Glover, but this is a guy now who's a really tough at bat with 17 home runs and 69 RBIs with the Cleveland Guardians. It's not an easy task by any means for Sandy Alcantara. This is a very, very tough, grinding hitter right now that will make you work for every pitch.
Contact hitter, tough to double up. Squares around to bunt. And he took a strike right at the knees. He pulled the bat back, but that was called a strike.
They're not doing the wheel here as a defensive right now. Second baseman is going to cover first. First baseman is going to crash. The third baseman and Manny's reading. If it's a hard bunt, he'll just take the out at first.
Swinging away, a little flip shot to center field. It gets down. Lands right in front of Julio Rodriguez. The bases are loaded with nobody out.
It fooled everybody. It fooled the whole defensive adjustments and alignments. And Jimenez, we talked about it right prior to this at bat. He's a grinder. He will grind and understand what he's got to do and what his objective is. Trying to straight through that baseball. Broken bat, but still gets the job done. Very good base running right there by both Salvi and Gleyber. It's a stressful situation I think Sandy's been in a long time. He got outs in any base. I think if you're Ronnie Linares, you're telling your defense, just take the double play, right? We don't care if 1 run scores, we'll take the double play. We'll give you 2 outs for 1 run. No problem about it.
Guy at the plate who left the ballpark his first time up. Santander takes high, ball 1. Not just the fans who are beating the drum.
Problem with Sandy's, he's lost that feel of that changeup.
1-0.
That's a good one right there.
That's his last time up.
Oh, he didn't miss it. He tried to come in. 98-99. Sandy Alcantara was shook after that swing. There's no surprise though with Santander.
Time at home plate. Bases loaded, nobody out. They have the overshift on. Machado's the only infielder on the left side. 3 overloaded on the right side.
The changeup is the pitch. There it is.
It was up a little bit, but it was the changeup.
Yeah, but he's found that feel once again. At this point, you're not thinking about ground ball. At this point, you're thinking strikeout. You got to unload if you're Sandy Alcantara right here. There's no outs. If he's Sandy Alcantara, the NL Cy Young Award winner, he's thinking strikeout right now. There is no double play in action.
That one popped up. Now that's going to be a huge first down on the infield. Infield fly rule is called. And the catch made anyway for a big out, number 1.
Very big out right there on that slider. He wanted to back foot him on Santander. Just got it up enough. That'll do though. It's just as good as a strikeout. He's still not done though.
Now if he could get that ground ball and see if his defense could help him turn a double play, he could get out of it.
Well, we were talking about the Dominican lineup not having any holes. This Venezuelan lineup, you go from Santander with 33 homers to 31 homers with Eugenio Suarez, a guy that can pop one at any given moment.
Suarez over the last many years has piled up A ton of home runs, and he is hitting 8th for Venezuela.
Talk about the home runs, 126 home runs since the start of 2019. That's the 4th most in MLB during that span.
First pitch, he swings and misses right over top that hard 98-mile-an-hour sinker. I mean, it's Alonso, it's Judge, it's Schwarber. Those guys come to mind. Most people don't associate Eugenio Suarez with that kind of power, but there he is.
It doesn't matter the ballpark either. He'll make any ballpark look tiny.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Alcantara. Foul tip, strike 2.
Well, these fans understand the situation right now, don't they? They're giving Sandy everything they've got, all the energy.
The 0-2. Rides way inside, 99 miles an hour. Next pitch will be number 60. Two. Got it.
That's just not fair. He's been 98 to 99 all game, tied him up, and now he's going to go and drop that change of 94 miles an hour. He's found it. He lost it for a second, found it again. I think Sandy understands the moment right now in his first WBC.
Could be his final hitter. It's David Peralta, bases loaded, 2 down. And that changeup taken low. Peralta walked his first time up. He seemed to be seeing the ball pretty well from Sandy Alcantara.
And I think what he's seeing right now is just a really good the changeup he's been throwing. Hasn't been too much jumping at it or anything like that. Very under control.
Alcantara wants to go through things once again with his catcher Gary Sanchez. Game still tied, bottom 4. Bases were loaded with nobody out. Now bases loaded, 2 down. Peralta foul tipped it. Another changeup.
No, it's not just the velocity, but it's the movement on that changeup as well. It's like a Martin Perez slider, lefty slider. It's just diving down on hitters. It's a heavier 2-seamer.
Here's his 1-1. Peralta down the left field line. Slicing foul back into the seats. So now he's 1 strike away from getting out of it. The 1-2. Peralta, line drive, base hit to right field. 1 run is in. Here comes the throw. It's cut off. 2 runs scored. Venezuela. David Peralta. What an at-bat. They lead 3-1.
When we thought he was overmatched, he came to play. A mistake by Sandy Alcantara throwing him that slider. What a moment for David Peralta. Sandy Alcantara is done.
Wow.
That's that slider right there. Kind of wanted to throw him in that back foot slider. Left it up. What a swing. There was a play at home too. I don't know. He shouldn't have never cut this ball. Look at Gary. He knows it too. But what a moment. What a moment for Team Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic.
Against one of the great pitchers in the world, Venezuela takes a lead. Pitching change right after this. Sandy Alcantara had 2 on, nobody out in the third, got through it without allowing a run. He had bases loaded, nobody out here in the fourth, and was 1 pitch away from getting through it, but David Peralta came through with a tremendous at bat.
After we see this at bat, though, watch the Venezuelan dugout, how they're just pushing away and all being third base coaches. I gotta love the World Baseball Classic.
That's a lot of third base coaches.
I don't even know if he picked up the third base coach, the real one.
How could you? How could you?
20 of them.
So now Alcantara out of the game. Top of the order, Jose Altuve will come up for the 3rd time, and he'll face Hector Neris. The right-hander spent a lot of time with the Phillies, then joined the Astros and ended up beating his old team with the Astros in the World Series last year. His first pitch, high and tight, look out. Wow. You're not supposed to do that to your teammate.
Hello.
Wow.
Oh, goodness.
He did get out of the way, just a ball, and now high and tight again.
Think he knows their teammates. It has been said that it's a lot harder to throw to your teammates, especially in situations like this. They'll get to talk it over in April.
Cabrera watching from the dugout.
Inside,
inside, it's 3-0. A walk would load the bases. You got Acuna coming up next.
We talk about how important that Salvador Perez double was to start off the inning. It's been a backbreaker so far at this bottom of the 4th for the Dominican club.
Three and 1.
I'll be careful with that pitch again if you throw a 3-1 to Altuve.
He's cranked a few of those high fastballs before in some memorable spots. One of the all-time great postseason hitters. And this, I mean, look, it's so strange to say in the middle of March, but this absolutely has the feel of a postseason game.
Oh, no question about it. From batting practice, it felt like it was October.
Venezuela's gone ahead 3-1, looking for more. 3-2. There goes the runner for first. It's not close. Ball 4. Altuve draws the walk.
We saw earlier in the pregame show how we were talking about Acuna and what he does in moments like this. Can we see a LeBron James stance? Can we see the sword? Can we see the irony of playing in the backyard in Venezuela? In a moment like this with bases loaded, I know Ronald Acuna Jr. has been thinking of moments like this all his life.
Of course, in Major League Baseball, number 42 has been retired forever for every franchise. But here in the World Baseball Classic, Ronald Acuna Jr. wearing Jackie Robinson's number.
Nice touch. I would be very surprised if Neris throws him the first pitch fastball here.
In the dirt with that splitter. desperate save by Gary Sanchez, but he did it.
That was all hands on deck by Gary Sanchez right there. Abort, abort, abort.
And home.
There is no catching that ball whatsoever. The fastball count. Can we see a fastball?
Acuna rips one foul. He was on it.
He was on it. Looked like he broke his back up.
I think he did. You're right. He had never hit into 2 double plays in a game in his career. He still has never in the official big league record books. He's done that tonight against Alcantara.
How about that? One of the things he does so well is how quiet his load is. He's so quiet with his load. That's why he's able to track the baseball so well. A guy that can stay through a baseball, stay connected with his backside, is because of his quiet tendencies to get started.
Waves and misses over top the splitter. It's 1-2.
Boy, that was a good pitch right there. You rarely see Acuna swinging like that. A split fastball right there. Out in front, completely fooled. Now he's got to respect that.
Got it with the fastball. But Venezuela knocks Alcantara out of the game, and they take the lead. We're through 4. It's 3-1. You know that guy, huh?
A little bit. 3rd overall pick, 6-time All-Star, 2 Gold Glovers.
And
Oh, he's my brother-in-law.
yeah, okay. And he's buying dinner next time you guys are together.
That's right.
Manny Machado, truly, I mean, he's been a great player since the moment he arrived in the big leagues, but last year was one of his greatest seasons. In the Dominican Republic, though, going to the 5th inning, new pitcher Luis Garcia, the right-hander for Venezuela. The Dominican now trailing 3-1 after David Peralta's big hit. Garcia bounces that first pitch in there. Ball 1.
Talk about Luis Garcia, 28 starts last year with the Houston Astros. Guy doesn't walk that many guys. He's going to come right after you. Look for a minute to ambush him here.
A guy who's had a very unusual delivery this offseason with all the new rules.
Have to change it.
And the emphasis on calling the balk rule as written. MLB has advised him that he can't do what he's done for all these years anymore. So he's had to work on a newish delivery. And MLB was very proactive with the pitchers that they thought were going to be in violation of how they were going to enforce the rules. Now they sent out video clips and had like one-on-one meetings with guys like Luis Garcia. 1-2. Missed high.
Steady diet of breaking balls for Manny Machado here.
He's ready for Team Venezuela with all the accessories.
Got it.
Machado out on the front foot, pops it up. 1 away.
That's a sharp slider. He threw a couple in that at bat right there. All from strike to balls. When we talk about the pitching performances so far today, it's been as lights out and crisp as it gets, especially in the month of March. You would never think that.
Oscar Hernandez, who has popped out and walked. Strike. Well, Luis Luis Garcia in some ways kind of lost his spot with the Astros last year. They have so many other talented pitchers on that staff, but in a huge moment in their year. Remember the 18-inning game against the Mariners?
He was their go-to guy.
He really was. He ate up a bunch of innings in that game. Ultimately, the Astros won, ended that series.
5 innings, no runs, and he could have gone. He probably could have gone a couple more innings.
Outside.
Just off the outside.
This is a situation for the Dominican team that you're not going to hit a 2-run homer. You're not going to hit a 3-run homer when there's nobody on base. You have to chip away a little bit. You have to get on base first. You got to have a good at bat. Simplify the game. Simplify the inning for you to have big rallies.
2-2.
For Salvador Perez, he feasts on that stuff. When he kind of smells where the hitters all they want to do is slug, he'll just feast you. You barely seen that many fastballs in this inning. And again, we're probably going to go with another breaking ball here. He's understanding the moment.
The 2-2 slider. Foul back.
Salvi, it just feels like when you play against him, when moments like this are happening and they're up, he'd rather want you to beat you with 3 hits than 1 swing, than a walk and a swing. Got a sneak one here.
Rocking motion from Garcia, 96 miles an hour.
He showed it.
Another 2-2.
Oh no!
Slider misses. Johnny Cueto's on the Dominican Republic team.
He is. So is Robinson Cano.
We got some real veteran presence.
Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz is the GM of the team. And a player.
He's wearing all the hats.
It's a pretty big responsibility. Robbie Cano. In the dirt. Ball 4. Hernandez draws the walk.
Good at bat right there for Oscar Hernandez. When we're talking about simplifying the at bat, simplifying the inning to start something. 1 out, 1 walk. A very professional at bat.
So the walk now means Rafael Devers comes up with his power and a chance to tie the game with 1 swing.
Things get a little different now.
Go in this game. It's only the 5th, but Venezuela has a 3-1 lead. And in this Pool D, where 3 of the 5 aren't going to advance, but 1 of the 3 powerhouse countries, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, at least 1 of those is not going to advance out of this pool. These head-to-head matchups among the 3 are so important. One. This would be a monstrous win for Venezuela if they can get it.
I think for either team, you talk about going up 1-0. You'd rather be 1-0, 0-1. But especially a powerhouse like this, if you're able to beat the Dominican Republic, all of a sudden now you become that lead, that head team. And we saw Puerto Rico's big win today, but you get a big win like this against the Dominican team. Now the Dominican team are against the wall, while Venezuela is driving the big bus.
That one's pulled down the right field line. That's going to be a foul ball.
Well, that's a good breaking ball right there. Devers just did enough, but you can tell how sharp Garcia is with his fastball at 95, 97 miles an hour, and that really good breaking ball that he's been throwing to everybody.
Devers just a little too quick. Behind in the count, 1-2. Franco on deck, and then Jeremy Pena, if they could get the inning to him, would have a chance to hit. 2-2.
It's a good pitch right there. Speed him up right now. Speed his eyes up. Got a mound visit. Now it really gets Devers really thinking about it, right? Those mound visits are very intentional. They're you sped him up. You've been soft. Speed him up. Mound visit. Now his clock is ticking. Now he's trying to gauge, all right, where we're at. He's trying to sack himself up right here. I would be surprised if he goes up the ladder again. I would probably think it'll be another breaking ball, especially the way the at-bat has gone. All Devers got to do is make sure he's getting a good pitch, a good strike.
Meeting over 2-2. Fastball struck him out swinging 95 miles an hour.
Mano a mano right there. My best stuff with your best stuff. He just wanted to challenge him.
And that was an out-and-out challenge pitch.
Garcia just felt like his fastball was better than Devers' swing. That's all this was.
So that's right down the middle. Big strikeout for Garcia. Now on to Franco.
Electric fastball.
Franco's walked and struck out. Those at bats against the starter Martin Perez. Ruiz got a couple outs in the fourth. Now it's Garcia here in the fifth.
I wonder Franco, his dominant hand, I would think, or his dominant side is a righty rather than lefty.
That has been the case. Now, there's been some question about whether some of his injury problems led to that discrepancy, but numbers would say you're right about that.
He's got a fastball count right here, 2-0. Will Garcia challenge him like he did to Devers?
What's up?
Did not, and he missed. 3-0. Franco walks, then Pena comes up where an extra base hit could tie the game.
A guy that's seen all his pitches, all of last year's pitches at least.
Correct.
Knows him like the back of his hand.
Another teammate. That's ball 4.
That's how you start rallies right there, right? Simplifying everything, making sure it starts with you by getting good pitches. All of a sudden now, a little bit of a pickle in Garcia, first and second, 2 outs, and Pena coming up.
So we're going to have another visit here on the mound. Dominican Republic has had a lot of chances in this game. Remember, they scored their only run 2 batters into the game. Base hit, Rodriguez, Juan Soto with a double. It was 1-0, 2 hitters in. And since then, they have had chance after chance. Will this be the moment where they break through again?
Well, they've left 18 guys on base so far. That doesn't say something.
0 for 7 officially with runners in scoring position in the first 5 innings. Another crack at it here, and as you said, a hitter playing shortstop, playing right behind Luis Garcia, who's watched a lot of his work.
I will say one of the things I've noticed with Garcia so far, every first pitch has been a breaking ball. Would he mind trick Pena right now into starting him off with a fastball?
2 on, 2 out. He threw the breaking ball, and Pena was swinging at it.
As we saw in the postseason last year with Pena, he bites at those breaking balls, especially those breaking balls that kind of start like a strike and end the ball down in the dirt. Pena's got to relax a little bit right now. Making sure you're hunting windows. Top of the zone, that's the only go-to.
I think sometimes it can help a pitcher if a hitter might be looking for a pitch and he gets that pitch, but it's not in a great spot to hit. That can work to the pitcher's advantage. 0-1. Pena, did he hold up? Yes.
Dave, a lot of times I would sit on a pitch, and if I would get the pitch, it didn't matter where it was at. It could have been 3 feet off the plate, and I was still swinging. Let's take a look right there. Now he laid off that.
And who knows, maybe that's what happened with Pena, that first pitch of the sequence. There's a slider I'm looking for, but it was in the dirt. Now it's 1-1. And he got him to go go after the high slider. 1-2.
He got away with that one right there. I was up in the zone. That was the window we were talking about prior to that pitch. Little baby cutter. Just kind of got away from Garcia a little bit. That's the one that Pena wants. Most big league pitchers will only give you one in that bat. Not sure if he'll see it again.
The 1-2. Pena strikes out swinging. That was anything but a hanger. So another missed opportunity for the Dominican Republic here in Miami. World Baseball Classic 3-1 Venezuela. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Inc. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Just the first day in Pool D. We're going to have enough stamina to make it through with these teams.
Chugging away, baby, chugging away.
Sandy Alcantara still in that dugout for the Dominican Republic. He was disgusted after he got knocked out of the game, gave up the 3 runs. Dominican Republic led 1-0. Venezuela has come from behind. Yimi Garcia now takes over for the Dominican team. Got to take that bracelet off, so he does that.
A fantastic job with Yimi Garcia with the Blue Jays on a 2-year deal that he signed. You're going to see a lot of fastballs, 4 seams, 2 seams, slider, curveball going off of that. He's got to change him for some lefties that he likes to throw, but more than not, these fastball, sinker, slider coming right at you.
Way outside, ball 1. Luis Arraez 1 for 2. Last year with the Twins. Now this is his home ballpark. Traded to the Marlins.
Always tough facing Yimi Garcia. Remember, I couldn't pick up the ball. Everything is the same angle coming right at you. Fastball kind of gets on you. He's got a couple different types of shapes of sliders that he likes to throw, but his changeup is the equalizer for lefties. There it is.
Arraez staring out at Garcia, just totally fooled by those last 2 pitches. Out number 1.
See that changeup right there? I mean, it looks just like a 2-seamer. That's why it's so different and so difficult to hit. You see it out of the hand and you're thinking it's a 2-seamer, and all of a sudden it just kind of stops halfway.
Swing and a miss for strike 1.
And for the most part, you know, his fastball is 95, 96, but everything else he throws is about the same speed. So it's very hard to gauge if you're a lefty hitter or a right-handed hitter.
The double for Salvador Perez last time up. That started the rally. Hits this one to third. Kind of an in-between hop, but as you would expect, handled beautifully by Machado. 2 down.
Understanding who's running. Salvi Perez.
He does a lot of things well. A lot of things well.
I asked Salvi this spring training if he was going to get a bag. What was first, a bag, a stolen base, or a triple? And he looked at me, he says, probably a homer. He's probably a homer. I said, all right, you got it.
The run tool is not at the top of his list. Fastball, that was a swing for Gleyber Torres. Strike 1.
That's a big at bat right now. Not only Yimi Garcia, but Gleyber Torres. For Yimi, if he can get under 10 pitches here in the at bat, in the inning, he can go out there again. Understanding that the Dominican Republic has an off day tomorrow, so they're unleashing. This is game 7 for them. Everybody's hot. For Venezuela is a little bit different.
One and 2, 5 days of pool play. Everybody gets one built-in off day. So today, Team Israel did not play the first day in Pool D. Tomorrow, the Dominican Republic is the team that has the day off. Team Japan has gone undefeated so far in their pool. They've already clinched a spot in the quarterfinals.
Boy, they look good, huh?
They've been dominant. A big favorite. Not the same depth of talent in their pool as, say, in this one, but still, they still look really good.
Outside.
Oh, man.
Shohei Ohtani looks really good. I know you're shocked by that.
That's that guy. He is different, I tell you. You know, you can talk about the pitching or the hitting, the way he runs, everything just wows you.
Outside.
Count 3-2.
But one thing I've been very surprised by all these relievers and you know, even the starting pitchers is how sharp they are. I mean, you can tell these guys got ready as soon as they got home from their season. They were thinking about WBC, making sure they were as sharp as they could be.
Labor liner to short, and that was caught out of the air by Pena. So a low liner caught. Garcia retires his side in order. We go to the sixth. 3-1 Venezuela. All right, today was the first day in pools C and D. Pools A and B have been underway for several days now. We were talking about the dominance of Japan. A crazy pool A. I mean, you conceivably could have a 5-way tie at the end of pool play, and those we'd be digging deep into the tiebreakers.
It'll be interesting, that's for sure. We'll be talking about defensive runs and innings and offense. It'll be nuts.
Italy, Chinese Taipei, Taiwan, China, Panama, the Netherlands. It's been a wild group.
When you talk about Japan and what they've done, it feels like they're on cruise control, going 3-0.
Yeah, they've had the look of a championship contender, which I think everybody coming into this World Baseball Classic figured that they would be. A history of performing really well in the World Baseball Classic. Part of that is basically every other team. Players are in spring trainings, in their own camps. They come together for a week or so and try to get as many workouts in together. They talk about things in the wintertime. Not most of Team Japan. Team Japan gets together weeks ahead of the World Baseball Classic and works together as a unit. I think it does give them an edge.
Yeah, even Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish. Shohei Ohtani stayed here, and he went to Arizona for a spring training. But I remember Yu Darvish, he stayed in Japan the whole time, not even come to Arizona to get ready for the Classic.
Garcia gets the strikeout there, out number 1 here in the 6th.
We're just very sharp right there. Not too many fastballs, but just under the hands of Candelarios. Really had no chance. He's going back to the batter's box saying, man, what just happened there?
Well, this is pretty cool. Look who's coming up as a pinch hitter for the Dominican Republic. Their catcher Gary Sanchez due up, but Robinson Cano.
Absolute stud. And I think it's the right matchup right here.
Goes after the first pitch from Garcia, fouls it away.
I think he fares a lot better. Cano, bringing in Cano right now. Trying to get something started. Talk about the all-time hit leaders in the World Baseball Classic. Robinson Cano is up there with some of the best.
24 hits in his World Baseball Classic career. Another foul ball. It's 0-2.
He's got 2 good pitches to hit. That's what happens when you come off the bench at times. You do get those pitches to hit and you just miss them. You're ticked late. You're ticked underneath. But I like the aggressiveness here, understanding that, hey, I'm here to pinch hit. If I see first one I see I like, I'm going for it.
More than 2,600 hits in his big league career. Fouls another one away. So it'll stay 0-2, 96 miles an hour. He's 40 years old now.
Definitely respecting the breaking balls. He's watching the game. He's understanding what Garcia's been trying to do to left-handers. Usually in situations like this, it's either to freeze him with a fastball or throw him that backdoor slider, the back foot slider. I remember playing with Robbie Cano in Seattle, and man, it was a thrill to see every single day.
0-2. Yeah, you had a pretty close personal view of Robinson Cano. 8-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger, won a home run derby.
He's an All-Star MVP in 2017.
Now he chased there, the breaking ball in the dirt for strike 3. 2 down.
Garcia is continuing to make those pitches, and they matter most, especially with 2 strikes. He is eating up the left. He's down and in with that slider. He is as sharp as it gets right now. See it there one more time. Problem is, you're respecting the fastball. It's coming out of the same slot, that 4-seam ride on it. It's very hard to pick. You got to pick and choose one or the other. Garcia's not going to give you that many pitches to hit. If he gives you one, you're lucky.
So now Julio Rodriguez, 2 outs, nobody on, and he swings.
More than not, Dave, good pitching will be good hitting. That's what we're seeing right now. I mean, they have put an absolute stop on the Dominican offense.
Which is an offense that it's hard to describe how powerful it is. Rodriguez takes that one in there. It's 0-2.
And his vintage Garcia, vintage kind of the way the Houston Astros pitch. It's spin, 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 and ride, ride, ride. We're seeing a lot of spin right now.
0-2. Just missed with the fastball.
That's just a show right there. You have so many areas you can go with if you're Garcia right now. You can go back to that ride, you can go back to that spin. Everything's working for him right now. He's got a really good rhythm with Salvador Perez.
Bounced that one. So the count is 2-2.
You know, where it seems like it's just a 3-1 ball game. It just feels like a little bit more. The gap is a little bit farther. We're only in the 6th, but you're running out of outs. At some point, you're in the Dominican Republic team. You're counting your outs.
3-2. Well, you got to give young Julio Rodriguez credit.
0-2 to 3-2.
He faced Luis Garcia in that classic 18-inning playoff game we were talking about. Three-two.
He wants that pitch back. Look at Julio Rodriguez kind of walking around home plate saying, "Ooh, he just got away with one right there."
That's kind of, I think, the way that Jeremy Pena was feeling last inning, where finally, after a bunch of really good breaking pitches, he got one up and just fouled it back.
That's Garcia for you, where when you think you have him, you really don't.
Another 3-2. With the fastball, 95 miles an hour.
I think that's the reason too. You know, at times where you think he's falling in love with his slider, and you want to sit slider, you want to sit spin, you want to sit soft. All of a sudden, as we see there, he hasn't thrown that many of them, but he throws just enough that kind of gets you off his slider and his cutter.
4 strikeouts, 2 walks, has not given up a hit. He's gotten 5 total outs. Trying to keep Venezuela ahead in this game. 3-1, 6th inning. That is strike 3 call. Frozen with the fastball. Garcia strikes out the side. Francisco Mejia takes over at catcher for the Dominican Republic. And the Dominican team will also have a new pitcher on the mound, trying to stay close. They're down 3-1 against Venezuela. They jumped ahead 1-0. Venezuela has really controlled the game since then. Luis Garcia, the right-hander for the Padres, comes in.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I like to see from Luis Garcia is his ability to throw strikes with his fastball. 61 innings, 68 strikeouts. We're going to see a lot of heat coming out of Luis Garcia. Has a really good slider and a good changeup to go off of that, but no question about it, his best pitch and favorite pitch is that old number 1.
So this Luis Garcia takes over for Yimi Garcia, who pitched for the Dominican in the 5th inning. The other Luis Garcia is still officially in the game for Venezuela.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this.
We got a Luis Garcia against a Luis Garcia at the moment right now. Jimenez will pop up into shallow center. Pena will make the call. 1 away.
Luis Garcia, we talk about him and what he's done for the San Diego Padres. He's a heavy leverage guy, a guy they like to use in the 8th inning, 7th, 8th inning, especially when those big right-handers are coming in. He's turned into that specialist for the San Diego Padres. A guy they heavily rely on, not only last year, but coming up this year as well.
He pitched some big moments in the postseason. Anthony Santander, who homered to tie the game back in the 2nd. Really, that was a big moment in this game. The Dominican had taken a 1-0 lead. Crowd was loud, I think, in their favor at that point. And one swing of the bat against the great Sandy Alcantara, tie game. .98-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's fastball count. To a guy that loves to hit the fastball and could have pulled the trigger on it. Just tells me the life that Garcia has tonight. Now he's got windows. Right now he can go with that devastating changeup, go right back to the fastball. He likes his changeup.
Yanked foul, 1-2.
We've done Santander. He's done a great job with his body this whole offseason. So he's leaned out.
He does. He looks a little different to me. I saw him come up to the plate for the first time tonight. I was like, oh, okay.
Looks quicker. That's what happens when you get a little bit more flexible. All of a sudden, bat speed goes up. Now you can turn on pitches that you didn't think you can turn on. Your clock gets a little slower. Garcia, look no further. It's 98-99 coming at you.
1-2. With that changeup low.
It's incredible how these hitters right now, they're the best in the world. Guys are throwing 98 to 100 miles an hour with a split finger at 90, 91, and their abilities to take it, it's just unbelievable. I believe our hitters in today's game are the best, if not ever.
Ball out of play.
You know, I remember coming up, and I would see maybe one guy in a bullpen throwing 96, 97. Now they have 6 or 7 of them. And they have starters throwing 98, 99 with secondary stuff.
I mean, we are in an era where the overall offensive numbers have gone down these last few years. But I think the point you're making is there has never been a time of the game where it's been harder to hit, ever.
And it's every single day. There is no break in the schedule of a big league ball player.
Big overshift on with 1 out and nobody on. Two.
Oh.
Full count here to Santander. 3-2, the switch hitter.
Problem is Garcia likes to throw his fastballs and fastball counts, and Santander likes to hit the fastball. Garcia doesn't want to walk anybody right now and turn this thing around into a mini rally. He wants to put people away. Got to be careful with this pitch location.
3-2. Pulled with the overshift. That's caught. Wander Franco was right there. In a couple weeks, you won't see that.
No, that would be a base hit, possibly a double, too. That was a good split finger, though, by Garcia. 3-2. A lot of times you rarely see that, especially a guy coming out of the pen for 98, 99 miles an hour. He's special.
Eugenio Suarez 0 for 2 with 2 down and nobody on.
4-1.
Takes that one low.
The air has been lifted off the stadium, right? Just feels for a second everybody's just waiting around for something big to happen. Seeing all the emotions, all the big hits for Venezuela. Everybody's kind of just lounging around, seeing what's about to transpire.
I think one thing that can happen, a team, I mean, the Dominican Republic has had so many chances offensively in this game. Ton of base runners, lots of at bats with runners in scoring position. And they just have not been able to come through with those big hits after the second hitter of the game. It can be a little deflating for the players and even for the fans in the stands.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about how many guys they've left on base, 20, whereas Venezuela has left 14 guys on base. So both teams have had their chances, no question about it.
Officially 0 for 8 Dominican Republic with runners in scoring position. And they trail 3-1.
Hold up.
That was close, but called a ball. 3-1. Garcia can't believe it.
Yeah, he's wondering where was that pitch. .98 miles an hour sinker right there. Got to be careful here with this 3-1 pitch. No, Eugenio Suarez loves to hit the long ball.
That's
ball 4. Down and in. So Suarez draws a 2-out walk. And with all the players in this game, the biggest superstars in baseball, the guy who has been the most impactful player in the game tonight is coming to the plate right now, David Peralta. I mean, he has had 2 great at-bats. Drew a walk.
2 RBIs. Big hit of Sandy Alcantara, knocked him out. On an at-bat that started 0-2 all the way to 3-2.
That was the at-bat of the game and maybe the at-bat of the World Baseball Classic so far. Take way outside for ball 1.
The guy who started his career as a pitcher.
Now meeting on the mound. That is true. David Peralta was a converted pitcher into a position player.
I think he's probably going to be a platoon outfielder right now with the Dodgers.
Signed that deal in February. This will be his 10th big league season.
Him and Jason Hayward spoke with the Dodgers. Dodgers have a few question marks, especially on the defensive side this year. But for Peralta, man, he's making a name for himself here. First game of the World Baseball Classic.
He swings and drives that one to center field. And that one's going to get by the center fielder Rodriguez. Coming to third, Suarez. And no relay throw will be made home. Peralta's going to stop. A run is scored. Peralta will be tagged out, but it's another run batted in for David Peralta. And that puts Venezuela ahead 4-1. What a game he's having. Even with a base running mistake, you run into an out, you make sure the run scores, add to the lead. It's 4-1.
Let's take a look at that last play by Peralta, especially after hitting that double. It's a for sure double. You probably know that that runner at third base, that first base, is going to score, especially with 2 outs. They were going to send him. The biggest thing here is he was running with his head down, and Miggy Cabrera wasn't too pleased by making that third out at third base. And those are the biggest no-nos in the game. You never make the third out at third base. And if you wonder, all the third base coaches and everybody's just thinking, what is going on right now? Miggy Cabrera, I'll let him have it after that inning was over, saying, man, we needed you. We needed you to be at third base. You got to look with your eyes up when you're running. You can't be running down with your eyes down. Vintage Miggy Cabrera. He was saying, yeah, it was my fault. It was my fault.
I think they're going to forgive him, though.
I think they're going to forgive him, right? They should.
He's had the 2 big hits in the game for Venezuela. Juan Soto pops one way up there in shallow center field. Luis Garcia still on the mound for Venezuela, and he gets a big first out here in the 7th. Jimenez with a smile on his face.
Talking earlier with Miggy, man, he is as happy as it gets, man. Being here in the World Baseball Classic, wants to contribute, wants to play, but being with the younger guys, helping them out.
You get to watch from the dugout. You get to yell at your teammates if they do something dumb.
Why not? One of the purest, greatest hitters our generation, or
of all time.
Of all time.
All time. Miguel Cabrera, one of the great hitters of all time. And I tell you what, you still throw him up in the right situation as a pinch hitter.
Be careful.
He will still give you a spirited at bat. Manny Machado now down 0-2. Luis Garcia continues to throw the ball well. 5 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings. Looking for number 6.
Luis Garcia feasting on breaking balls with all these right-handed hitters.
Got it. So 2 down, bases empty. We were talking about Miguel Cabrera. 500 or more home runs, 3,000 or more hits. That is a very small club. Back-to-back AL MVPs, won a Triple Crown in 2012. And look, as his career went on, his defense eroded, his speed eroded. But truly one of the all-time best hitters.
I was having a chat today with Miggy Cabrera and Albert Pujols, and I just kept saying to myself, wow, over 1,000 home runs right here. Unbelievable. Be around those 2 legends. And still talking about hitting and how to get better. One's retired, the other one's still playing, and they're still talking about how can you get better.
I mean, last year Miggy got his 3,000th hit. Albert Pujols had a total revival, especially down the stretch last year. Just had an incredible last year.
Garcia is just feasting on these right-handed hitters, throwing enough fastballs to get him off of it, and effortless if he gets away with this inning right here, an effortless 7th. Dominican Republic has their hands tied.
This is Garcia's 3rd inning on the mound himself, and he went around that strike 3. Another strikeout for Luis Garcia. Hernandez argues. Half of the Venezuelan team out of the dugout to greet Luis Garcia coming back in there after another strikeout. 7th inning stretch time. If you had said 2 hitters into this game that Venezuela would be leading 4-1 and really controlling this first game for these two teams in Pool D of this World Baseball Classic, I would not have believed you.
That's the game of baseball, though. You still got to play it. But it's been an incredible game, well-pitched game, well-defended game. Just an all-out, well-executed game.
Dominican Republic led 1-0, 2 batters in. The place was going absolutely berserk. Martin Perez, the starter for Venezuela, looked shaky. And that is the only run that the Dominican has scored still to this point. Camilo Doval, one of the hardest throwing young pitchers in the game, out of the bullpen against the top of the order. So the big hitters for Venezuela trying to keep the Dominican in this game.
A lot of slider cutter usage. He's been up to 104 miles an hour. 57 out of his 80 strikeouts were via the slider. Called Johnny Cueto one of his biggest influence on his baseball career. Now another former teammate of mine.
Altuve's drawn 2 walks, been on base all 3 times. Bouncer, and it kicks away from Machado. Altuve on base again to start this bottom of the 7th.
It's a nice short hop right there for Manny. Couldn't make that play. 9 out of 10, he makes it. Kind of came up on him a little bit harder on that top spinner.
Not an easy play,
especially with Altuve running.
And now Acuña's kind of been left out of the fun for Venezuela. Breaks his bat here, slow roller towards second. Hit so softly, no chance for a double play. The bat just exploded.
Can't believe that bat didn't hit the ball. Went through his legs.
It was like a magic trick.
Look at that bat.
Right between Camilo Doval's legs. A frustrating offensive game for Ronald Acuña. 0 for 4. Here comes Luis Arraez. One thing that's interesting about Doval, you mentioned all those numbers, how hard he throws. He will routinely be in triple digits in terms of the velocity, but a lot of times it's the ground ball, the weak contact, that is the strength for Camilo Doval, as opposed to just blowing hitters away.
When I look at the ball, it's all arms and legs coming at you. His fastball, you know, you talk about the weak contact. Everything's moving. It's east and west, north and south. He's got a really good cutter. That's why you usually get those weak contacts.
99 for a strike.
Things could be a little bit different though with the ball. You know, this is the guy that generally likes to take his time in between pitches, and you're seeing him here kind of a little bit faster, understanding the situation.
That one right in on the hands, just a one-hopper. Franco makes that play. 2 down.
That's another soft contact. Wanted to ride it up. Instead of riding it, it just cuts on Luis Arraez. You rarely see Luis Arraez break a bat. Well, right there, he absolutely got blown up by the ball. Look at that ball right there, just cutting.
Yeah, that's 2 bats broken in 3 hitters.
6 pitches.
That's a pretty good ratio.
Oh, man.
So 2 down. Altuve goes to 3rd on the play. Here's Salvi Perez. Late. Strike 1.
More than that, those are the swings you're going to get right there. When you get weak contact like that, you're saying to yourself, no, I got to swing at, you know, be extra aggressive, ultra aggressive. The first one I see, if it's in the zone, I'm going.
Big hit for the Venezuelan catcher tonight. Here's the 0-1. By him 101 miles an hour. 0-2.
He's just warming up.
There was some concerns about. He's one of the slowest workers in the game last year, but early in spring training with the new rules, he was working quickly, and it seemed to be no problem whatsoever.
It'd be a blessing in disguise too.
0-2. Fouled away.
Some of the things about the ball, sometimes working quicker, they don't have time to think, right? They just get the pitch, grip it and rip it. Special talent.
It's a big run over there at third if the Dominican Republic is going to have a chance to come from behind. He missed up at 102 miles an hour. It was just a little infield hit that started this inning, but on 2 consecutive ground balls, Altuve moved to second, then moved to third. One-two.
Oh, fuck.
Ouch. That one got the home plate umpire.
Wasn't too thrilled about it.
No, I don't blame it.
You know, you always say to yourself, it'll hurt for 8 seconds. Other than that, it kind of goes away. Of course, that is not true. It'll hurt you for the rest of the night. Kind of tell yourself 8 seconds.
Andy Fletcher's been around for so long, I don't think he's buying that anymore.
You see the longtime trainer for the Cincinnati Reds, Tomas Veras, one of the great ones in our game. Check it out.
Yeah, sure, I'm fine.
It happens.
We have a mix of umpires in this game. A couple big league umpires, an umpire from Germany, an umpire from Colombia. All right, here we go. 1-2. Under third, 2 down. Perez to center field. Rodriguez with room, and that's out number 3. Dominican Republic running out of outs. They need to get to work. It's 4-1 Venezuela. We go to the 8th. Beautifully pitched game for Team Venezuela here in Pool D. A heavyweight matchup, Venezuela, Dominican Republic. Martin Perez got through a couple different moments of big trouble and limited the damage. Ruiz 2 outs, and Luis Garcia just tremendous. 3 innings, no hits, 7 strikeouts. Now it's the lefty's turn. Jose Quijada, who spent last year with the Angels in their bullpen, he takes over for Venezuela.
Yeah, fastball, changeup, slider. One thing's for certain, we're going to see a lot of fastballs. I mean, this is a guy 50 of his 52 strikeouts last year were came via the fastball. Loves his fastball, falls in love with his fastball, and will repeat and repeat and repeat until he feels like, hey, they're on my fastball. So lefties weren't too good off of him. 6 for 52 against him. Opponents hitting 115. Situation right now where Venezuela feels like, hey, if I get out number 1, then I can work from there.
So left against left here. Devers 0 for 3. You got Franco on deck, and then Pena.
What's up?
A couple right-handers. Dominican Republic down to their final 6 outs. They've had 1 hit as a team in their last 23 plate appearances. And a lot of that was Luis Garcia. Big swing and miss here, 1-1.
Yeah, I think if somehow they can turn this lineup around. I know Devers is the 5th hitter, but if they can have a little bit of a rally, we can see a little malfunction there with the wardrobe. then the steeper end of that lineup, you know, having Julio, Juan Soto, Manny, so Oscar Hernandez, give him life, give him a chance. Oh.
1-2, just blew it by him.
Rarely see Devers swinging like that. That is an in-between swing right there, underneath the baseball. Hips flying open. Usually he's staying locked in, staying tight, connected with his backside. Devers loves that fastball.
Devers pop up behind home plate. Perez has plenty of room. Out number 1.
Closer look at Garcia, what he did. I mean, he threw enough fastballs to get you off his slider, but it was spin, spin, spin at all times, especially to the lefties with 2 strikes. Love going to that back foot slider, and to those righties, he did whatever he wanted with them. I mean, he was absolutely toying with them. He was fantastic. It was vintage Garcia. It felt like we were watching postseason Garcia in Houston.
It really did. I mean, and there are some parallels between that outing in the 18-inning playoff game last year against the Mariners and this one here. 1 out for Quijano. His jersey just keeps flying open. Not sure exactly why that's happening. He got the out on Devers and it came unbuttoned again. Now you got one that's unbuttoned down below.
Trainer, somebody get some pine tar.
Yeah, something sticky.
Outside.
2-0. It's a live arm. It just really gets there. It's got spin. It's got ride.
The whole thing's just coming apart every pitch. He's not bothering to fix it anymore.
An explosive delivery coming at you. Buttons and everything coming at you.
That last one is hanging on for dear life. Franco punches that one through. And that's the first base hit in a while since the 4th inning for the Dominican. Wander Franco's on base for the 3rd time.
Now for the majority of the day, Dominican Republic's offense has seen a lot of sliders. I think it's a fresh or a breath of fresh air, knowing a guy's going to throw you off fastballs or likes to throw the fastball. Especially with some right-handers coming up to bat.
So now bottom part of the order, 7th place hitter, although your 7th place hitter was the World Series MVP, the LCS MVP, Jeremy Pena.
Inside.
Off the inside, ball 1. But the point you were making is at top of the order with Rodriguez, with Soto, with Machado starting to lurk.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Omar Lopez is realizing that as well, and he's made that quick call to the bullpen, say, hey, start getting loose. I know we're counting down the outs, but we're changing this lineup up right now. All of a sudden now this stadium kind of, okay, here we go. There's smoke in the air.
This is what happens in a playoff game. One hit, one base runner can change the feel of a game.
Well, you're going to get a fastball here in this fastball count 2-0. Look, he had to challenge him.
3-0.
And that's Salvi at his best right here. Trying to calm everything down. Starting to feel the energies kind of shifting a little bit. This Dominican fans base has kind of been asleep for the majority of this game.
You would think down 3 runs, 3-0 would be a take for Pena. See if Quijada can throw a strike. Oh, wow, he got a very, very friendly call. That was ball 4.
That was ball 4, but that's Salvi at his best right there. Making it look like a strike, catching it nice and soft, a big wide target. More than not, he usually gets those calls.
3-1. Not that call. do start to wonder, at least I do. We were sort of giggling about it a minute ago. You get your first out, you can't button your jersey, but whether it starts to become a little bit of a distraction out there. I mean, every pitch, in between every pitch, he's fooling with it.
Well, everything matters right now. You know, the smoke is brewing, the smoke is getting a little thicker. You pop one right here, all of a sudden now it gets very dicey.
Well,
no lead is safe with this offense. I mean, at any given moment right now, this can turn quickly. And when we look at a guy like Candelarios, who's feasted his whole career on left-handed hitting, this is a moment for him, knowing what's going to happen, knowing what's transpiring right now in this inning. More than not, you're going to get some good pitches to hit.
This is the best possible matchup for him.
Yep.
He's had 2 hits in this game. He is the tying run.
And if you're playing the mental mind game right now, you're understanding one thing: Quijada doesn't want to fall behind. But you are going to get something to hit early in this count.
Trying to tie it up with one swing.
You got a good pitch.
They are due for a hit in a spot like this. They haven't had a single one all game. 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position.
And if you're trying to tell yourself, if you're Candelarios, you got to get on top of the baseball. This got ride like he hasn't seen all night.
Candelario, a pop-up, shallow right. Not an easy play. Falling and caught! A lunging catch. Santander, 2 down.
What a play. What a play. Talk about what he's done in the offseason to get his body ready.
Wow.
Well, he was ready for that time. He wanted the ball hit to him. Saw the reaction, the watching and hoping.
And then directing.
And directing as soon as it was done.
Here you go. 2 down after that terrific defensive play. First at bat for Mejia. Foul ball, strike 1. If he reaches, then the great young hitter Julio Rodriguez will get a chance here in the 8th inning.
Quijada's feasting it right now. Right, he's feeling it. The energy of this ballpark right now. Venezuela is up on their feet. Whole country's watching.
Two off the outside.
Rare changeup. Show pitch right there. At this point, might as well just take the jersey off.
I mean, seriously. The literal letting it all hang out.
He's about to right here with his fastball.
1-2. Got it with the fastball. Just rip it off. More frustration for the Dominican. More celebration for Venezuela. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Well, just when it felt like the Dominican Republic was going to get right back in the game, a strikeout of Francisco Mejia after a great catch helps keep Venezuela in the lead. And what a reaction from Quijada.
What a reaction from the whole team. Altuve's jumping down like if he's in Little League. Salvador Perez jumping up and down like it's a World Series game. That's what it's all about, ain't it?
He's disappeared from our view for the moment. He must be trying to find a sweatshirt or a new jersey or whatever. Brian Abreu takes over. What an arm this guy has.
When you talk about the stoppers for the Houston Astros, this is their guy. I mean, as effective as it gets, he's even more effective with lefties. 97, 98 with that fastball slider, using it about 44% of the time, and that curveball about 84, 85, using it 10% of the time. But this is a guy, high leverage situations, he's your go-to guy.
Caught a little soft liner there for out number one. So Gleyber Torres retired to begin the bottom of the eighth.
Abreu was one of the part of those combined no-hitters for the Astros threw against the Phillies in Game 4 of that 2022 World Series. He was a big stopper for them.
And of all the great arms that they have, and they have a lot of them, and we saw several of them in that game, I don't know if anybody on Houston has better stuff than this guy. Strike one. Jimenez.
Look at the body of work in Abreu. I mean, it just looks like a horse, right? He looks like a pitcher, a guy that can really take a lot of innings in you and be that guy that you really can lean on, a pillar, if you would say.
Outside.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. In the postseason last year, he gave up 4 hits. What's wrong with it? In 11 1/3 innings. No runs, 19 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Got to be a misprint.
Just total dominance. He's falling behind here. You're right. Just monstrous presence on the mound. His listed height and weight just doesn't seem to be right.
Well, you know, when righties are hitting 225, but he's even better with lefties. Lefties hitting 189. That tells you the type of stuff he's got. You know, most bullpens, you try to lean your way into matchups. With Abreu, it doesn't matter who's up.
Does not matter. Did well to stay alive. I guess it wasn't like a total shock why they won the World Series last year, because these two rosters are loaded with players from the Houston Astros. This guy Brian Abreu, Christian Javier's got incredible stuff himself. Montero, Neris, Pena we've seen in the game. Altuve, Luis Garcia was a huge star on the mound tonight for Venezuela.
Well, they had 18 Latins in their roster. Most out of any team in the big leagues. Houston Astros did. Tells you something about their kind of ways of going.
Got it. Foul tip held on by the catcher Mejia. 2 down.
We have seen A+ stuff from both bullpens today. You see that breaking ball right there after throwing that 99-mile-an-hour fastball. You know, what do you want to throw at this point? Everything works.
What a night for Anthony Santander.
We talk about Santander and Peralta. You know, both outfielders that came into the Venezuelan roster with a lot of question marks. You know, Cunha as well in center field with a how is his knee going to react? And you know, here we are with those three kind of rolling the load on what the Venezuelan team is all about on the offensive side.
Santander, his first career game in the World Baseball Classic, has hit a home run and made a game-saving highlight catch. miles an hour. It's 1-2.
And more than not, on a 1-1 count, you're going to see your best stuff out of the pen. Your best pitch, and that's his fastball. That was the best Abreu had right there at 101. I don't think I've seen Abreu this hard. I don't think I saw him this hard last year. And he is sharp. I know it's March, but boy.
Pulled and a fair ball. It's another hit for Santander. Chugging for second. The ball sticks in the corner, and he's going to try for third. And no throw is made. It's a triple. Have yourself a game.
Unbelievable. I really want to take a look at this swing because you want to teach how to hit a slider, how to stay through it, and how to have length in your swing. It starts as flat as it gets on the backside, and how do you keep it fair by staying inside that baseball? And boy, as it gets stuck in that right field corner, Santander was thinking 3 all the way. What a night. Defensively, offensively.
A homer, a triple, the defensive play of the game, and a chance for a monstrous win against a powerhouse team. An extra run over at third with 2 down. Eugenio Suarez.
You talk about Santander, a guy who spent a lot of time with another Venezuelan, another great, Martin Prado. Guy who started hitting early on in the offseason and said, hey, I want to make sure I'm ready for the World Baseball Classic. Martin Prado, you know all about the World Baseball Classic. I'm going to need you to come give me your tips. Well, it's been paying off so far. And again, 1-1 count. Seeing your best stuff right there. Eugenio Suarez wants that pitch back.
Venezuela's got the lefty. Jose Alvarado up in the bullpen, getting ready for the 9th. The top of the order for the Dominican Republic is looming. 1-2 to Suarez. A line drive, pass a reach at Franco. Into right center field. It's another run for Venezuela.
What an at bat. You know, with these great hitters, velocity is just not going to get it done. At some point, these guys are going to make an adjustment. Eugenio Suarez has done just that. There's a 4-seam up in the zone, not trying to do too much, staying very short, using the whole field. Simplicity at its finest for Eugenio Suarez right there.
The bottom of the order for Venezuela. Santander, Suarez, and this guy David Peralta. The difference in this game. So many big hits. The 7, 8, 9 hitters, those 3 we were just mentioning. 5 for 9, 5, all 5 runs batted in for Venezuela.
And usually this is what it feels like when you talk about a postseason game. The 3, 4 hitters aren't going to beat you. The guys that are going to beat you are the guys in the bottom of the lineup. And sure enough, they've come to play today. It's got all the makings of a postseason game.
0-2, back up the middle. Defense right there. Pena takes it to the bag for the putout. But an extra run for Venezuela. 3 outs away from their first win against the Dominican in their World Baseball Classic history. Team Venezuela 3 outs away from an historic, massive win against the Dominican Republic. We go to the 9th inning, and they'll give the ball to the left-hander, the hard-throwing Jose Alvarado to try to get those last 3 outs.
Well, Alvarado's been as nasty as it gets, a reliable source for the Phillies, especially in last year's run to the World Series. 51 innings, a lot of strikeouts, 81 of them. This is a stopper, as what we call a stopper in today's day and age. It's 100 miles an hour coming at you, a bowling ball for a sinker and a really good slider. It doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. He is as unhittable as it gets.
Well, the Dominican has the right hitters lined up here to try to come from behind, but the top of the order outside of the first 2 at-bats of the game has been quiet. Julio Rodriguez trying to get a rally started here in the 9th. Strike 1.
And for the people watching at home, it is 101, but with sink and drop to it. That's why he gets so many ground balls. That's why he gets a lot of soft contact. It is very hard to lift that baseball if you're a hitter and you're facing Alvarado.
And that cutter, which can go from 94 to 96, has become a better and better weapon for him to complement the super high velocity fastball that sinks.
Oh, no, it's up.
2-1.
There's one knock on Alvarado, is that he can get a little wild. You know, where times now he'll take his time. Maybe next year that's a little different, right? You're gonna have a pitch clock, but in moments like this you can kind of reset yourself, throw your best pitch here, 2-1. But there is a knock at times with him, is that he can get a little wild.
Rodriguez drives that one toward the corner, down the right field line. It is a foul ball. Not by much.
Well, there's one thing certain, if you're the Venezuelan squad, is a grand slam can only tie it. So you're still feeling pretty good about yourself, even if it's a long rally. A lot needs to happen for the Dominican team.
Hard to believe this is the first game for these 2 teams. Struck him out. 96-mile-an-hour cutter, 1 away.
We see it right there. Little back foot action for a cutter. Man, that is just unhittable, not fair.
So here's Juan Soto. Soto doubled in the first run of the game. 2 hitters in tonight. It was 1-0. Dominican. They have not scored since. Strike 1.
Well, we got a couple Padres coming up right now. You know, they had really a lot of success against the Padres, the NLCS.
Again, the Dominican will have tomorrow to regroup, assuming they don't come from behind here. Venezuela tomorrow night plays Puerto Rico. That one ripped down the right field line. That is a fair ball. Juan Soto's going to have his 2nd extra base hit of the game. And the Dominican Republic is not done yet.
You got a good fastball right there to hit up in the zone. Soto's just too good of a hitter to miss that pitch, especially after taking that first fastball. Alvarado tried to challenge him again. Soto's just too good, too short to the baseball. Again, working the top half of the ball. He's got a really short, crisp swing right now. Probably the best I've seen Soto in a while. When Soto's going to line, it's a big problem for the opposing pitchers, and he's shown that today.
At some point, you figure the Dominican Republic's going to have to get a hit with a runner in scoring position. 0 for 10.
They've left 24 guys on base.
That one kicks away. So Soto's going to go to third.
Situation right here, if you're Manny Machado, you're thinking one zone and one zone only. It's got to be your pitch, 1-0. Well, most of the day, they've kind of had a nice little steady diet of breaking balls, something that he mashed last year. This moment, Alvarado.
Wow, called a ball.
Venezuela's trading it out for a run, so.
As good as Manny Machado is, you got a 4-run lead. Alvarado does not want to walk him. That extra run that just scored in the bottom of the 8th. With every pitch out of the strike zone, with every base runner starts to feel bigger. That's ball 4. Machado goes to first, so you got first and third with Teoscar Hernandez coming up. And you're one more base runner away from getting the tying run to home plate here in the 9th inning.
And we talked about it earlier on for Alvarado. One of his knocks is that he tends to get a little bit wild. You know, that's the thing about Salvi Perez, though. He knows when to go talk to his guys. He knows when to calm them down. More than not, every time he's gone out there to talk to his pitchers, they respond. It tells me a lot about the leadership. And as we know, the consistency that Salvi brings to the table is the best that we have in our game right now.
Well, you mentioned the walks can be an issue for this guy. That is not the spot for a walk. Hernandez digs in. He's walked twice in the game tonight. That one misses inside.
Situation for Omar Lopez. Do you start warming up somebody?
I think
for this thing not to unravel right here.
I think you do. His jersey's coming unbuttoned. Got the call at the knees.
That's a good pitch. No, Oscar Hernandez is not too pleased about it, especially when Alvarado's been all over the place, but it is a strike.
Now it's 1-1. That's a ball. 2-1. I think Venezuela is getting some bullpen activity now. Out of play. 2-2. Silvino Bracho is up in the bullpen. Right-hander, just in case. You got the group of right-handers after the lefty Devers, who's on deck here. So I would imagine that's the part of the lineup that Venezuela is thinking about in case it gets there. 2 on, 1 out.
I think if he goes to that slider. Went with a 1-0.
Way inside.
Yeah. I mean, this has to be a fastball count right here if I'm Oscar Hernandez. If it's spin, you just got to let it go. All the pressure right now is on Alvarado. He's been all over the place.
3-2. big pitch here. And it's strike 3 called.
Big pitch right there. I think to Oscar Hernandez was a little bit in between. He wasn't sure what to sit, where to sit, or location. But nonetheless, Alvarado just absolutely dotted that pitch in the inner third.
So now Venezuela 1 out away. The Venezuelan pitchers out of the bullpen. The relievers alone have 15 strikeouts tonight. Right in that same spot at 101. Devers has had some success. Not a ton of at-bats, but he's had 5 hits in 11 at-bats against Alvarado. Trying to keep the game alive for the Dominican Republic. In the dirt. No reason to risk anything on the bases. You're down 5-1.
It's a base-to-base situation right now.
The Dominican down to its final strike.
I think if I'm Salvador Perez right now, I stick with a heater.
There you go. 1-2. Devers chops one to third. Suarez races to the bag for the putout. An historic win for Venezuela. The first time they've ever beaten the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. What a team performance. The bottom of the order, the bullpen wasn't only the big stars on this Venezuelan team that contributed to a 5-1 victory over the Dominican.
Absolute well-played game by the Venezuelans. You got to give Anthony Santander, Eugenio Suarez, David Peralta. How about this guy, Luis Garcia? An incredible performance.
And it sets the stage for Venezuela in this ultra-tough Pool D, where they have the biggest win, I think, in the whole tournament so far. Meanwhile, for the Dominican, not literally must win from here on out, but it feels like pretty close to it. What a night for Venezuela as they beat the Dominican 5-1. The final score tomorrow, 12 Eastern. Nicaragua and Israel will make its World Baseball Classic debut this year. For Yonder Alonso and our whole crew, Dave Fleming saying good night from Miami. Thanks for watching this presentation of the World Baseball Classic.